I don't know about your upbringing, but I had one thing that I really disliked when I was growing up. Whenever I had an argument with mom, and usually it happened with mom, I don't know, because she was most of the time at home, my dad would come to me after the argument that I had it as a child, and he wanted to teach me something. He wanted to teach me forgiveness. So he would tell me, go to your mom and apologize. Did any of your parents done that to you? I was the only one? Well, I have to talk with my parents then. But I hated doing that because I wasn't ready to apologize to her. Like, it wasn't my fault that she asked me to clean my room. Like, I didn't want it. It wasn't my fault that she asked me to take the rubbish out, or she didn't allow me to go to the party or somewhere in the evening. And I was really upset with her. But my dad would come and say, go and apologize to her. And it was horrible because I would say the words, but in my head, the thoughts that I had towards my mom, well, they weren't Christian, yes? And I realized that in order to do that, I first need to forgive my mom. Forgive my mom for caring. Forgive my mom for loving. And at that moment, the limitation of my knowledge of what is good for me was restricting me to forgive her. So I needed the time to forgive her. And then when I forgave her for all she said to me, all the restrictions that she put it on me, then I could continue our relationship and I could love her again. So there was this moment that even if I apologized, I had some time on side, only I knew about that, to forgive her. And then I was okay with her. And I think the story of Lazarus, it's one of the most beautiful stories of forgiveness. Because it teaches us what forgiveness is. And it started with Mary and Martha sending a message to Jesus and saying, look, the one you love, if you didn't know, your favorite one of your really good friends, it's really ill. Please come and help us. And Jesus sees the message, and he tells the disciples what? Well, this illness won't lead to death. Don't worry about that. But will be for my glory. So the disciples were, okay, we don't have to rush. Jesus knows better. So they stay 2 more days. And after 2 days, Jesus tells them, well, you know what? I think we need to go and visit Lazarus. And they're like, well, Jesus, it's quite dangerous. You know, you can get hurt, and you know what happened last time? They almost stoned you. Like, do we really need to go there? So then he's teaching them a bit, walking in light, walking in darkness. And then he tells them, well, he's sleeping, so I need to go and awake him. And I like how Jesus is talking to his disciples, because he never talks to them like a child talks to, like a parent talks to a child. He talks with them like grown up. Yeah, so he doesn't tell them, well, yes, he's dead, but I can do something about it. No, he tells them he's asleep and I need to awake them. So they're like, well, okay, if he's sleeping, so why we have to go there? You never wake us up. And he's like, oh my days. And this is like a rolling your eyes moment. I don't think Jesus was rolling his eyes. But when I read Bible, I roll the eyes for him. I said, oh my days, actually, he's dead. Don't you remember? I used that wording already. So they go to Bethany and they get there. And when they get there, Lazarus is dead. He's dead for 4 days. And apparently it's significant why it's 4 days and not less, because the bodies start to decay, smell. Some were saying that the soul was leaving the body, and that's why I was for sure knew that he's dead. And he goes there, and Martha sees him, and she's what? She's upset, and he goes to him, why haven't you been here? If you'd been here, he would be still alive, the one that you love. And then she adds, but I know that you can still do amazing things. But when she says that, she doesn't think that he can resurrect him. Maybe she thinks, well, you can heal my grief, my pain. I don't even know what she meant, but she didn't believe him, because after that, he says to her what? He will rise again. And she's like, yes, Lord, I know when you come again, we all will rise and he will rise again. I do believe that. And he's like, no. Do you actually believe that I can do things that you limit me with? And he says, yes, I do believe you are the Messiah. I do believe that. And then Mary comes. And here we can see the emotional side of Jesus, because Mary says the same thing to Jesus. If you'd been here, this wouldn't happen. Our brother would be still alive. And he sees the grief. And he's angry. In the translation here it said is disturbed, but actually when you use this verb somewhere outside the Bible that we're using, they were describing that it's anger. He's angry. He's not angry at Martha or Mary. He's angry at sin. He's angry of the consequences of sin. And he cries. And if we go through John, this is his 7th and the biggest miracle. This is the glory of who he is and what he can do. So he tells to them, okay, let's go to the grave. Let's go to the cave where he's in. And he asks the people to move the stone. And then Martha interferes again and she's like, Lord, what are you doing? He's already smelling. And he comes to the, oh my days, it's another rolling eyes moment. Don't you see? We just had a conversation about that. And then he made the miracle. And then Lazarus is alive again. I don't have that many friends who were resurrected. I don't have any. I have people whose prayers were answered. I have people who, after many years living on this earth and having relationship with God, are able to tell the stories of how God was leading them and how he was there for them even though they didn't see him. But at the start of the story, when Martha and Mary send a message to Jesus, he says that he will use this event for his glory. And I don't know, but I don't want to have those events of his glory in my life too often, because they're hard and they are difficult, and people are suffering and people are dying. And when we pray and we come to Jesus and we say, Jesus, help us. This is the problem. I send you a message. Please come. But can we do it like a simpler way? The one that I won't even maybe notice that you made this amazing miracle in my life. But I don't want to have a moment of your glory in my life because they're just too hard. And the resurrection doesn't happen as often as it used to be. And I put myself in the story of Lazarus. When we pray and we call him to help us, I imagine God just running straight away to me and saying, I am here for you. But he's waiting 2 days. And sometimes he's waiting 2 days. And sometimes he's waiting 20 years. And sometimes he's so quiet that we are thinking, where is the God that loves me? So we start to have conversations with him. more and more, and we're saying, Lord, why did you allow this to happen in my life? What have I done? I believe in you. I know that you can make those miracles. So why? Why are you allowing this thing to happen? And then Jesus comes and he says, well, I have a promise for you. And we say, yes, we know that you are coming and we're all going to be saved. And he said, no. Do you actually know the importance of that? Do you actually can see what I do in your life? And we say, yes, you are my Messiah, but you still haven't been there to protect me, to protect my family. And then maybe, if we allow him, we can see that he's suffering with us. We can see that he's angry of the consequences of sin. We can see that he's crying with us. But at that moment, do I really care that Jesus cries with me? I'd rather have him help me than just be crying with me. Because I don't want to have miracles that will show his glory in my life. I want to have a simple solution. I don't want to go through the things that I have to go. So now, if I want to have a relationship with him, I need to forgive him. Did you ever forgive God? Because of my limitations, because of who I think he is, because I think he abounds me, I need to forgive him to continue this relationship. I need to come to him and say, when I was praying and I couldn't see you, that's okay because I can't see everything at this moment. But sometimes it's hard to forgive him. Sometimes it's hard to talk to him. And Jesus, all his life at this earth was about humiliation and being broken. He had to be broken in order to forgive us, not because he couldn't forgive us without it, but because we had to see it. We had to see how far he would go to forgive us. We had to see his love. We had to see his care, that without his forgiveness, without the sacrifice of his forgiveness, we are not able to forgive him as well. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we have anything to forgive Jesus for. But because of our understanding, because of our limitation, there is a need to be honest with Jesus. There is a need for us to forgive him. When I was forgiving my mom for looking after me, that was for me. Because I knew that I need to forgive her, maybe someday, to understand why she allowed certain things in my life, why she upset me. And this communion time, maybe it's time for you to forgive God. Maybe there are things in your life that are not going the way they're supposed to. Maybe you are not really true with God, and those things you are just putting under the carpet and you say, okay, let's move on, but it still hurts. But if my life, it's full of moments of glory of God, for myself, for my family, for others, I think I can take it. I think I can take the moments of glory in my life if at the end, the biggest miracle, it's my resurrection. It's my family resurrection. It's my neighbor's resurrection. I can take it all. What is your story that you have to forgive God?